And we need to find a left back for next season, because it's obvious that the manager is not totally convinced by Target in the long term. And so we've got to sign a left back, which is why we're linked with Tierney, of course.
Well, I was just going to mention that. I mean, we're going to get sidetracked slightly here, John, but Kieran Tierney, you know, he's got some big fans. Ian Wright's a big fan. Alan Shearer is a big fan. Mikel Arteta's clearly a big fan. It's just Zinchenko's come in and got that spot over Tierney. You know, he's been said previously that he could be captain material for Arsenal in the future. He sounds like the kind of player, and I'll admit I've not watched too much of him, but when you read what these big names are saying about him and how he's impressed them, he sounds like the kind of player in terms of reputation, the way he applies himself, the way he's handling not actually being in the side as well. He sounds like the kind of player that if Newcastle are going to stay at the top level of the Premier League, the kind of player Newcastle need to sign.
Yeah, I think he's a left-back version of Kieran Trippier, just the other side of the pitch. He was an excellent player at Celtic. He was a brilliant player when he first went down to Arsenal. The only question mark I've got against Tierney is to make certain he is fit and he's not injury prone, because he's had a lot of injuries recently, and we do not want to buy another Callum Wilson, bless him. It doesn't matter how much potential and ability you've got if you're regularly injured. But I think he would be an absolute terrific signing, subject to fitness, without a shadow of doubt. I think he's the right type of person, and he's definitely a step up from what we've got available on the left side right now.
You mentioned there the game changers Newcastle don't have, John, and another hint towards the summer window. Today, Newcastle have been linked to James Ward-Prowse. I think people of the podcast know I'm a huge, huge fan of him. Only 28, dead ball specialist. I mean, you said they need a locksmith, someone who can pick the pass without even thinking about it. For me, he fits that bill absolutely perfectly.
Absolutely. You can name, without sitting here, you can name a few, can't you? Madison, James Ward-Prowse, they would really lift this club. And it is the next step. First of all, we got the defence right, didn't we? We bought a goalkeeper in 3 of the back 4. So we got the defence right, and the result was we had the best defensive record in the Premier League. We've had a dip at getting the front right, bringing Isak in at 60 million, bringing Gordon in at 40 million, etc., etc. Bruno, huge signing and steady in the midfield. The next step is not just a goal scorer, and yes, we need a regular goal scorer, but we need the locksmith in the middle of the park. That for me is the next step, and I would fully expect that to be addressed in the summer. And Newcastle, because if it isn't, then we live on a wing and a prayer again next season, where we're doing well, but can we get the breakthrough goal to win matches?